Well, before we start taking questions, I'll go ahead and give an intro. We've had a really good summer. Brought 2 guys with us that just works their butt off every day in the weight room. We actually, if you see them sweating up here, it's because we just finished. We literally walked off the practice field and jumped in the shower real quick and came up here. But we had an OTA with Sardis, and that went really well for us. And so we've had a good summer. We'll finish up tomorrow. It'll be the last workout. It'll be a real short workout, and we'll start practice Monday morning, 8:15. So we're good for questions when you are.
Yeah, Michael, can you talk about who steps in to fill all the things that Sylvester did?
Well, nobody. I mean, we asked him to do a lot last year. That's an ongoing battle at the quarterback position. We've got 3 different guys you'll probably see at some point in there, and we'll work that over the next 4 weeks in fall camp. On the defensive side of the ball, A.J. Denson, he's going to be a junior. He's going to kind of step in at safety for us, and he's played DB for us the last couple of years, and he's played some corner and some safety, but he's had a really good offseason. So obviously we're not going to ask him to do everything that Sylvester did. Sylvester was an SEC athlete, so we were able to gamble with him some and do some things that we wouldn't ask other players to do. But AJ's had a good offseason and a really good summer picking up. We haven't worked a ton of dates with the football yet, but the days we have, we try to get in a lot of defensive work, and he's had a good summer just picking up the safety spot, learning what to do, and being in the right spot.
Coach, could you talk a little bit about the region? I mean, you guys 4A Region 4, it's got to be, if not the toughest, one of the toughest in the state.
I tell you, from top to bottom, I think it is. You always got to start right now with Handley, with what they got coming back. They've got such a good team, and they're deep at pretty much everywhere, and just super talented. You go to Jacksonville, who's got a FBS, Troy commit at quarterback and some really good skill positions. They lose some guys up front, but they have some really good players. And you're sitting there with Anniston, who most years are the most talented in the region, and they did lose a big group of seniors, but they've got a couple move-ins that were the best player on the team that they were on, and they've kind of restocked, so they're going to be super talented again. Cleveland County's got about 21 seniors coming back. They did lose their quarterback a month or so ago, but they've got about 21 seniors, and you just can't. Experience is something that you just either have it or you don't, and they're going to have a lot of experience, and they're going to be a tough out. So, I mean, you just start looking at those teams, and my goodness, just right there, that's probably the 4 that we're shooting for, we're aiming for. That on paper, people's probably going to say they're the top 4 coming in. So, that's kind of who we've set our sights on, and that's no disrespect to anybody else in our region, but that's probably on paper as far as returning players. That's the 4 teams that's got the most coming back, probably the most talented.
Coach, can you just talk about the returning players you have on either side of the ball, whether it's offense, defense, or either key returning players?
Yes, so both of these guys are returning starters. I'll start with Warren because he's a 3-year. This will be his 3rd year starting at tackle for us. He's got, I think, 21 total starts for us, and he's just been consistent his whole career. Started as a sophomore, and kind of you could tell the game was kind of fast for him at the time. We saw a huge jump from his sophomore to his junior year, and he was constantly just the most physical player on the line of scrimmage for us every game, and you could tell the game slowed down a lot. Alex came out, played football really for the first time last year on the varsity level, was a starter immediately, was probably our top, 2 as far as production points. It was probably our top 2 defender last year. Our Mike Javion, I think, finished up with with the most production points, but he was just super productive. Played the game at a high, at a really good speed, and that's something that he plays the edge, plays what we call the dog, which is a hybrid outside linebacker safety, and you can't be hesitant playing that spot. He came in and looked like he'd been playing it for 3 or 4 years. But both these guys back, our biggest strength should be our offensive line. We've got every starter back. We've got a lot of starts on the offensive line. Like I said, Warren comes back. He's been a 2-year starter. He'll be a 3-year starter this year. We got our center, Logan Smith. He's coming back. Our guard, one of our right guard, Manny Strickland, he's coming back. Both of them started We have some more guys that's made some starts at left guard. Even our right tackle who started for us as a freshman last year, Caden Mosley, he started all 11 games at right tackle, and he's back. So, I mean, at the end of the day, we've got to lean on, that's the position we've got the most experience. We got to lean on those guys, and those are the guys that, when something's going wrong, that's the guys we're going to kind of look at and say, hey, it's y'all's job to pick it up, because y'all have all the experience. So really the up front, we need those guys. Of course, Petty started for us both ways, started and played a lot of receiver. We're going to try to limit, we're going to try to cut down his reps some offensively this year, just so he's better in the fourth quarter defensively this year. And we have more guys out. That's one thing that'll help us at the skill positions, that we've got some guys out, but we're just inexperienced there. And, Tank Edmondson comes back, Amari comes back as our running back, and he was having a really big year, rolled his ankle week 6, and really it affected him the next 3 weeks. And and what people didn't know is week 1, the doctors told him he was going to have hip surgery, and he wanted to get through the season. So he played all season long with an injured hip we kind of referred to him as a ticking time bomb. At any point, if he landed wrong or he stepped wrong, he was done for the year, but he wanted to get through it, and he played the rest of the season, except for the few games he was out with a sprained ankle. So those are the guys we're really going to lean on offense. Like I said, defensively, we lost all our secondary, but we got some young guys that's played in our system for several years. We need some guys like Jalen Williams to step up. He's played as a 9th and 10th grader for us. We need him to step up at corner and be a guy that we can depend on every game. I've already talked about A.J. Denson at safety. We've got Hunter Sparks at linebacker that started several games for us last year. We need him to take a big jump, kind of like I was talking about with Warren from that sophomore year to that junior year. We need to see a big step up for him. Same way with Sincere Turner. He played a lot at linebacker for us, started some games last year. We need to see those two really step up and go from that, hey, I'm playing as a sophomore, and game's kind of fast forwarding to, hey, this game's slowing down, I'm just getting in there making plays. Where our offensive line we think is the strength for us on offense, we also think our defensive line is the strength. So we've got several guys. Tucker Thrasher started a lot of games for us at the end. Seth Strickland at nose started for us all year last year, as a freshman. And another freshman that they're going to be sophomore is Devin Elder. He started for us at defensive end. So we need those guys to really play like second-year starters, not 10th graders.
Coach, I know that you had some not just roster turnover, but you had some coaching staff turnover this year. And sometimes that's a positive because y'all been successful. And some of those guys move on. Could you give us an idea of your returning coaches, and then some of the new coaches that you've hired? And also my second question you can answer is, the quarterback is gone. We understand that. Is there going to be a change, not wholesale, but will there be any tweaks on what you'll be doing offensively?
First off, it's good to see you here.
Thank you.
Second, to go back to let me answer the quarterback question first. Really, our system is the way we kind of designed it. Like, we went out there today and we're running plays against Sardis. It's the same exact plays we were calling when Sylvester was a quarterback. So, there's some things in our system that we might pull out and say, this is not good for this quarterback this year, but we'll still kind of install it and rep it, or especially early in the year, so it's always kind of like in our toolbox. So that would be one where I would say, to the naked eye, just from the stands, they might see some things different, but it's really stuff that we've been, the guys that'll be catching the shotgun snap this year, it's the same exact stuff that they've been practicing or running, for a couple of years now. So on paper, schematically, there's not going to be a lot of difference at all. We kind of pride ourselves in being able to just plug in and then, pull something out of the toolbox that might fit better for that quarterback on this year. Coaches-wise, yes, lost several, but was so happy for them because, I had 3 guys moving up to coordinator spots that were position coaches, and that's always good, as a head coach, because you get to see guys. I'd be a hypocrite if I said I didn't want them doing it because I moved up to be a head coach. So I was very happy for them. Coach Brian Owens, he was our DB's coach, and he moved on to the defense coordinator's job at Jacksonville. Devin Tothrow was our wide receivers coach, a special teams coordinator. He got the OC job at Susan Moore. And Monty Young, who was our outside linebackers coach, he went replaced Coach Blanchard, who went with Coach Smith to Westbrook. So luckily I was able to get a couple guys in. We're actually still short a coach or two, but Craig Norton, I got him from Sachs. We'd coached together for a long time at Sachs, and really good coach. He's been a coordinator really in all three phases of the game. And Josh Reynolds was a guy that played for us at Sachs back in 2011 and graduated in 2012. And he's actually been in the physical therapy world for the last, I don't know how many years, and decided he wanted to get an education and coach. And timing was great for us because we got to hire him in. So I got to hire in two guys that I really have known a long time, really trust them, and they're going to do a really good job. So I'm, excited about that. I hated losing my guys because a couple of them have been with me for 4 years. One of them I coached in high school from 7th through 12th grade, but happy for them to move up. I'm also happy to get these guys in that I've known for a long time and can trust them.
Coach, we've already talked about the region a little bit. We know the region games are tough, but your non-region schedule, you have Childersburg, Cherokee County, Lincoln, and Asheville. Can you talk about your non-region schedule a little bit?
Well, I think that's got to start with Cherokee County. I think I set up here last year, and I think it was me and somebody, I can't remember who we were talking about, maybe John Holder. We talked about, or I think we talked about it on the show, that Cherokee County we kind of figured they was going to come out of the north, just to be honest with you. That was last July. I think they got a good shot again coming out of the north. So they're going to be, I don't know if that's good scheduling or bad scheduling on my part. They're going to be really good again, but that's good for us because that game doesn't mean anything. It's a non-region game. And of course, we want to win it because it's a Friday night game. I think technically this year will be a Thursday night game, but at the end of the day, though, we're seeing good competition to get us ready for the next week. And we last year, we played them week 5 and then turned around and played Lincoln week 6, and we thought we played our best game of the year week 6 against Lincoln. But I credit some of that to going up against Cherokee County, who was a 4A North representative in the state championship game, playing them the week before. So Asheville, of course, they've had a coaching change. And they had a lot of seniors, so I don't know what they're going to look like. Coach Shepard, who I actually talked to a lot during the off season this year, he took over. He was at Pell City, and he took the Asheville job. So I just don't know a lot about what they're going to do yet, but I do know they had a lot of seniors last year. Of course, we opened up with N County, Childersburg, and I know Coach Johnson, that we talked during the summer. He feels real good about especially his skill positions, and they've switched some things schematically. I think it's going to help them a lot, and so we expect a dogfight that week with week 0, that first game.
All right, I've done this so far to every group I've talked to. This is for the players. When you get y'all talking a little bit, and then Coach Caesar, you can give yours, and they may answer it for you. On your team, think about your nicknames. Every team has some good nicknames. But before you say them, think about it. Is it good to come out? Say that. But give us an idea about some of your favorite nicknames on your team, or maybe the best one, and then Coach Caesar can tell us his favorite nickname.
We can start off. We got Amari. He's Tank, just because he's just so compact and hard to hit. You hit him and it just feels like a brick wall. So that one's very fitting. He's hard to tackle. Just kind of pushes through real hard.
Trying to think, we don't have many nicknames.
We don't.
We really don't have many nicknames this year. What's yours? Whoa. Oh, whoa, that's right. Call him Whoa Whoa.
Whoa, whoa.
Whoa Whoa.
That's unique. Guys, if you don't want to answer this, it's okay, but do any of your coaches have nicknames?
We have one more summer workout in the morning. No, I'm kidding.
Not that I know of. I don't think because I think some of the coaches last year might have, but yeah. We got a lot of new guys this year, so we're still building those relationships up right now.
He's saying he doesn't know who he can make fun of yet.
Yeah, he's learning. Also, Coach, we did talk about your region, but tell us how your region helped you when you got into the playoffs, because getting the playoffs is hard, and then once you get there, it kind of, now the kids say, hey, we've been there, we want to do what it takes to get back.
Yeah, I think you talked about that last year at Media Day, and it was big for us, not only our region, but our non-region games, with especially right there in the middle with Cherokee County and Lincoln. We got in the playoffs, and we go up against a region champ, who had a good team, don't get me wrong. But we were up with about 1:45 left in the game. I mean, we almost pulled it off, and we were a little depleted with injuries, just to be honest with you. But it was something that felt like another region game to us. It didn't feel like, oh man, we're playing somebody. They're a 1 seed, we're a 4 seed. It didn't feel like a 1-4 game. We just felt like that was another one of our region games, and it was not anything we hadn't seen, and that's what we walked away with. Even before the game, when we started, prepping for them a couple of weeks before the game, it was not anything we hadn't seen. And I think I know you've always talked about it as a coach, those non-region games, preparing you for the playoffs, and even the region games when you're playing a tough region, preparing you for the playoffs. And it was the same thing. It just, to us, felt like another region game, and we never went into it with, we felt like we wish we would have had a few more players available for the game. Well, like I said, we were pretty beat up, but it without a doubt, our region prepared us, because, I mean, there's nothing, again, no offense to ACA, but there was nothing we saw that night athletically or even the physicality that we hadn't already seen in region plays several times throughout the year. Coach,
one thing it was always important to me, and I know all coaches say it's important, but they don't always practice it as much, is bring up your kicking game.
Oh, yeah.
You have another runner that can come up and kick. I mean, that's a little bit unique, his story from last year, but where are you turning to now as far as your kicking game?
Well, he's actually back. He's got one more year.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, he's got one more year. We've got a backup kicker this off. He's the backup kicker. Dakota just kicks field goals for us, PATs. Our backup kicker was Wade Presley, and he actually kicked off for us, but he's actually playing a skill position and kicking off this year. But yeah, Dakota was big last year. I tell people, he kicks 2 field goals and a PAT in the first round playoff game, leaves Tuscaloosa, drives to the hotel, and goes out and wins the 4A state championship the next morning. And that's a big deal. We went down, me and a couple of our coaches got to go down and watch him run in the north-south competition in the cross-country meet and Sports Week last week, and he come out there and PR'd by about 17 seconds and finished third, but he was about a step and a half away from finishing second. And so Dakota's a big part of what we do, because we talked about it before. It changes your play calling once you start getting past the 40 of what you can do. And there's sometimes like, hey, I'm okay with getting 3 points because we got 3 points and it's an automatic. Or sometimes you get inside you get into a certain area, you may want to take a little bit more of a chance because you don't have to worry, you got an automatic 3. So hey, let's take a chance on something that we feel is a boom or bust, but we're going to get 6 points out of. If not, we're going to take that 3. So he's so consistent, and we're currently looking for the next 3 years. So we're going to try out our cross country team in about May. We'll try out our cross country team, see who can kick.
Coach, you mentioned that you had a quarterback competition ongoing, and you may not want to answer or give any names, but who are the guys that are in that competition for the quarterback position? Yeah,
so first off, we go into practice Monday, and we start when everything is scripted and we go our different groups. You'll see this guy to the right of me. You'll see Petty taking some snaps. You'll see B.J. Anderson, who's going to be a sophomore this year, take some snaps. You'll see Tank Edmondson, who started at running back for us last year, take some snaps. So for us, it's all about finding our identity, and at the same time, we got five returners on the offensive line for the most part as starters. So hey, let's make sure that we're playing to their strengths, the offensive line strengths, as well as our skill guy strengths. So just whatever works, whatever puts the ball across the goal line, we're good with it, regardless of who's catching that snap or who's not. But yeah, those will be the 3 guys. And we've got a 9th grader too, but he's going to handle the JV games, and he'll actually be on the field for us playing some special teams this year.
Coach, I got a quick question. You said you start practice Monday?
Monday.
So can I assume that means you didn't go through spring?
Correct, yeah.
What I know some of the reasons why some do, some don't. You've been there, you're going into your 5th year, is that correct?
Yes.
Does that come into play, or was there another reason you decided? Did you let me ask you this, did you do spring last year?
No.
Okay, so this is 2 years in a row you haven't done spring. What would be the reason that you wouldn't do that? But I know you do get you get to start a little bit earlier than normal than teams that did go through spring. What was behind that decision?
Well, the first thing, like you said, if you play a week 0 game, years ago when we were playing a jamboree game that week, different story. But when you're playing a real game, week 0, just that extra week of practice gives you a little bit more, I think, a little bit of an advantage over a team that did do spring. I'll be honest with you, though, for me, the whole reason we decided the first year to not do spring is we had so many guys playing baseball and in the playoffs. We just wanted to give them some time off. I'm not saying not doing spring is the answer every year. In fact, we've already started working on the calendar for next year, and we're leaning towards doing a spring because we're going to lose 4 starters on the offensive line. But just to give our baseball guys some time off, and we got 2 hours a week during the off season. We can't put on helmets, but we got 2 hours a week. We'd go out there on Wednesdays and we'd go for 3 to 5, and we would install and throw routes and do all that kind of stuff. But it's it's going to be a yearly thing. It's not. I don't think it's a one size fits all. It's definitely not going to be, hey, we're always going to do it this way. We're going to see what our team needs are going into the off season. And if we need to do spring, we'll do spring. If we don't, we won't do it. We'll start a week early. Can't believe we've gone through a media day and Jim Jacobs hadn't asked a question. Oh, you did answer one. My fault.
I'll ask another.
All right, go for it.
All right, let's talk about the one thing nobody in this room has brought up all day yet, but it's coming, and we all know it's coming. What will NIL do to high school football?
Destroy it as we know it. Destroy it. I think it's a terrible idea, and I really want them to give a quick answer too, to get a player's perspective on it. But I think it's bad for the game. If we want to do this, I didn't like it in college, but it is what it is. I think it's bad. Y'all give some answers from a player's point of view. What y'all think about it?
I feel like it kind of individualizes each player, kind of strays them away from like a team aspect because they're trying to get their own money and then try to win instead of trying to like become a team and win and then move on to that next level.
What's your thoughts?
Yeah, pretty much. I think it's bad for the team, pretty much. I think it, as each player, not many people like it, and not many people liking it causes everybody else not to, so it's not a good thought for us.